Alex Jones stated on his September 7, 2014 show that he now wants the U.S. military to bomb ISIS in Iraq and Syria.
I've seen some criticism. It's a small amount of criticism, but in the aggregate, but it's substantial when you have millions of listeners every day, saying, Alex, I've been listening to you for 15 years, and I've never heard you endorse a war. I hate your guts now that you support Rand Paul saying that we should target and bomb ISIS. Let me explain something. When Saudi Arabia supposedly is involved in the very suspicious attacks of 9/11, and then we attack Iraq with no proof, I was against that. When we attack Syria, who's fighting al-Qaeda, when Syria didn't do anything to anybody, I'm against it just like Rand Paul and Ted Cruz and others were. I'm a moral person. I try to judge and go with my gut and go with intellectual analysis. ISIS is real, folks. There's hundreds of thousands of them. At least 100,000 in Iraq, over 200,000 jihadis in Syria, blowing up every mosque that's not radical, blowing up every church, cutting Christians' heads off, blowing up ancient Jewish shrines, engaging in true war crimes. And I am for taking them out. In fact, not just stopping them, destroying them. The problem is our government helped create them. So when we come back, I'm going to break down the latest on ISIS. The imminent threat Homeland Security says will happen, they believe, by September 11th. I don't know if that's true. We're going to look at our reporters are on the border. That's all coming up straight ahead. I'm going to explain why I'm for striking ISIS. I get not being for war. I've never supported one military action. And quite frankly, they won't really target ISIS here, so it'll all be fake. But in spirit, I agree with Rand Paul saying, don't stop ISIS, destroy ISIS. This is al-Qaeda. Again, the war on terror is fake, but it doesn't mean there isn't real terrorists. The war on terror helps create these pieces of crap. They have to be dealt with.
Alex Jones, what is your problem? Have you lost your mind? Is somebody blackmailing you? You surely understand that the best thing the bankster-hijacked U.S. military can do for the people of the Middle East and the American people and everybody else in the world is leave the Middle East. When the U.S. government stops creating, funding, and equipping these despicable terrorist organizations, they will disappear. ISIS is not real. ISIS is artificial. It can't exist without the complicity of the Pentagon, but now according to you the Pentagon should bomb its own fake enemy in Iraq and Syria, which of course will mean the death of many innocent men, women, and children who live in the areas where ISIS is located. What could be more insane? By supporting war-making in Iraq and Syria, you are playing with fire, buddy boy. And such a shameful stance will be the downfall of InfoWars and everything else you have worked so hard to build. Your audience is large, but they're not stupid, and they can recognize neoconism when they see it, even if it's being peddled by Alex Jones himself, of all people, someone who opposed the banksters' criminal wars consistently up to now. You're not the head of a cult, dude. You don't have any followers. You have an audience who are not going to follow you off the edge of a cliff. Play the Judas goat if you choose, but it's not going to work and you're just going to destroy yourself. No U.S. troops on foreign soil. And no foreign troops on U.S. soil. Keep all the troops home where they belong. And that goes for airborne forces too. Stay out of Ukraine. Stay out of Russia. Get out of Iraq. Get out of Syria. America has its own problems, and what Iraq and Syria do is none of our business. Alex Jones, if you do want InfoWars to survive and thrive, stop the warmongering. If you want to commit political suicide, just keep doing what you're doing, and soon you'll be just as discredited as George Bush and Rick Perry.